Welcome my dear students. Let me do some more problems related to principle of moments. When a boy weighing 20 kilogram force sit at one end of a 4-meter long seesaw, it gets depressed at this end. How can you be brought to the horizontal position by a man weighing 40 kilogram force? So this is the diagram, a 4-meter seesaw, and this is the pivoted point, and which is at 2 meter. Now a boy is sitting at 2 meter or at the end of the seesaw, that means 2 meter away from the axis of rotation. So it depresses the seesaw and it produces an anti-clockwise moment. Let me find out that anti-clockwise moment. So the anti-clockwise moment produced by the boy is equal to weight of the boy, that means 20 into distance from pivoted point to the line of application of force, that is 2. So 40 kilogram force meter. So the man should sit at a place which provides 40 kilogram force meter clockwise moment to balance it. Therefore, the clockwise moment needed is 40 kilogram force meter, that is the weight of the man into distance is equal to 40 kilogram force meter. So distance is equal to 40 divided by 40, that is 1 meter, and 1 meter means 1 meter away from the center, because center is the axis of rotation. Let's move to the next question. A physical balance has its arms of length 60 centimeter and 40 centimeter. What weight kept on the pan of the longer arm will balance an object of weight 100 gram force kept on the other pan? We have usually seen the physical balances in shop and all, is it? So this physical balances are having its both the arms of equal length. A physical balance gives a true weight if and only if the left side arm is equal to the length of the right side arm. But here the physical balance is having the length of the arm in different. That is, one is 40 centimeter and the other is 60 centimeter. Okay. And a weight of 100 kilogram force is added on the left pan, that means on the shortest pan. This weight exert a moment and the line of action of force is this. Okay. Now the moment of force due to this 100 kilogram force is equal to 100 into this length, that is 40, that is 4000 kilogram force centimeter. The question is, how much weight should be added on the right pan to make this balance? So the moment of force needed side is equal to 4000 kilogram per centimeter, but it should be clockwise, is it? That is weight W, that's an unknown weight, into 60 must be equal to 4000. So weight is equal to 4000 divided by 60. 66.66 kilogram force. In the diagram, a uniform meter rule weighing 100 gram force is pivoted at its center O. Two weights, 150 gram force and 250 gram force, hang from the point A and B respectively from the meter rule, such that OA is equal to 40 centimeter and OB is equal to 20 centimeter. Calculate the total anti-clockwise moment about O, total clockwise moment about O, the difference of anti-clockwise moment and clockwise moment, and the distance from O where a 100 gram force weight should be placed to balance the meter rule. Now, according to the diagram, 150 gram force is added 40 centimeter away from the center and 250 gram force is added 20 centimeter away from the center on the other side. This 150 gram force produces an anti-clockwise moment and this 250 gram force produces a clockwise moment. So the first question is, what is the resultant anti-clockwise moment? Since this 150 gram force produces the anti-clockwise moment, that is equal to 150 into 40, that is distance from center to the line of application of force. That is 15 into 4 is 60, so 6000 gram per centimeter, and the direction is anti-clockwise. The second question is, how much clockwise moment is produced? The clockwise moment is produced by this 250 gram force. So that is 250 into the distance 20. So it is 5000 gram per centimeter. Now, the third part of the question is, what is the difference between this anti-clockwise moment and clockwise moment? That is, what is the resultant moment? The resultant moment is the difference between the anti-clockwise moment and the clockwise moment. So it is 1000 gram force centimeter anti-clockwise. Now the last part of the question is, how can we able to balance this meter rule by adding a 100 gram force? Or where should we add a 100 gram force weight to balance this? So we need to produce 100 gram per centimeter clockwise moment to balance this. Is it? Now this anti-clockwise moment is greater and the resultant effect is 1000 gram per centimeter anti-clockwise. So we need to produce 1000 gram per centimeter clockwise moment to balance it. That means the 100 gram force into x. If x is the distance, we are going to hang it, which should be equal to 1000 gram per centimeter clockwise moment. Therefore, x is equal to 1000 divided by 100, that is 10 centimeter. The clockwise moment will be produced only if we hang it on the right side. So 10 centimeter away from the center on the right side. The next topic is uniform circular motion. If a particle covers equal distance in equal interval of time, that motion is called uniform motion. Now, if a body covers equal distance in equal interval of time along a circular path, then the motion is called uniform circular motion. In other words, if a body travels in a circular path in constant speed, the motion is called uniform circular motion. So, in a uniform circular motion, the speed of the body is constant. Now, if you watch a uniform circular motion closely, you can understand one thing, that the direction of the body is continuously changing with time. The speed along with the direction of motion of the body is called velocity. Here, the direction of the object is continuously changing with time. That means the velocity of the body is changing, or it is not uniform. Since there is velocity change, the uniform circular motion is an accelerated motion. So let's conclude. If a particle is moving in a circular path, it must have some acceleration acting towards the center, which is making it to move around the center. Since this acceleration is perpendicular to the velocity of the particle at every instant, the body does not change its speed, but it only changes its direction. Hence, in uniform circular motion, the body covers equal distance in equal interval of time, and the speed of the body is constant, but the velocity changes due to change in direction. So, even though the speed is constant, there is change in direction, so the velocity of the body changes, and the direction of velocity is always tangential to the circular path. Since there is change in velocity, the motion is said to be accelerated, and the direction of acceleration is towards the center of the circular path. Now, according to Newton, all the accelerated motion is under the influence of a force. So, motion in circular path is possible only if there is a force acts on the body. This force is called centripetal force. The acceleration produces in the direction of force. So, here the body is accelerated towards the center. Hence, the centripetal force always acts towards the center. So, centripetal force is a force which acts towards the center of a circular path in uniform circular motion. In each uniform circular motion, the centripetal force is provided by different forces. For example, in an atom, an electron moves around the nucleus in circular path, for which the required centripetal force is obtained from the electrostatic force of attraction. That means the negatively charged electrons are attracted by the nucleus, which gives the necessary centripetal force. In a planet moving around the sun, the centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force of attraction between the planet and the sun. If a stone is tied at the end of a string is whirled in a circular path by holding the other end on the hand, the tension in the string provides centripetal force. In the absence of these forces, like tension, gravitation, or whatever it is, the body will not move in a circular path. So, the body moves in a circular path with a uniform speed under the influence of centripetal force, and hence it is in dynamic equilibrium. What is dynamic equilibrium? If a body continues its state of motion, either linear or circular, under the influence of several forces, it is called dynamic equilibrium, is it? So in the case of dynamic equilibrium, more than one forces are acting. Here, the centripetal force, in opposite to centripetal force, a force is acting, or a force is assumed to act away from the center of the circular path in the direction opposite to the centripetal force, which is called centrifugal force. So, centrifugal force is the force acting on a body in a direction away from the center of the circular path. That is why equal and opposite forces balances the body in a circular path. Thus, the centrifugal force is in the direction opposite to the direction of centripetal force. Its magnitude is same as that of centripetal force, but it is not a reaction force of centripetal force, because according to Newton, the action and reaction never happens on the same body, is it? Here, the centripetal force and the centrifugal force is acting on the same body. So, we cannot say that this centrifugal force is a reaction force of centripetal force. One more thing we have to notice is it is a virtual force. That means it is not a real force, or it is a fictitious force. Fictitious force means it is a force assumed by an observer moving in a circular path along with the body. Let me explain more about centripetal and centrifugal force. We used to play in merry-go-rounds when we went to park, is it? So this is a merry-go-round. Imagine you are standing here in the middle of the merry-go-round. A ball is tied at a distance like this from the center, and I am watching you from outside. When this merry-go-round starts moving, what you are seeing? How will you feel the movement of this ball? You see this ball at rest in front of you. That means you cannot feel the uniform circular motion of the ball if you are inside the merry-go-round. It's something like when you are inside a bus, the person nearer to you is rest for you, but he is in motion for anybody standing outside the bus. So like that you feel it rest in front of you, but for me there is uniform circular motion for this ball. Okay, so for you this ball is at rest, and for me this ball is in uniform circular motion. That means I can see the centripetal force acting. That means actually it is the tension of the string which is connected with the ball. So I can see the centripetal force, but you cannot feel it because for you it is at rest. Now, if the thread breaks, what will happen to the ball? So for me, this ball moves radially away from the position where it breaks, is it? So I can see it moving radially away or tangentially away from the circular path. That means for me the motion is radially away. But for you, since you are moving in a circular path, you can see the ball in front of you moving away in each position change. That means if the ball is in the position A, you see this ball moving some more distance away from the center. When the ball is at position B, you can see it some more distance away. So you can see this ball moving away from you at each position. So for you, there exists a centrifugal force, or this body is moving away from the center for you. But for me, this ball is moving radially outwards. That means for you there is centrifugal force, and for me there is no centrifugal force. Hence, centripetal force is a real force and centrifugal force is a virtual force. It can be experienced only if you are in a circular path. That is why centrifugal force is called fictitious force, or it is a force that really does not exist. Hope you all understood what I taught you. Thank you and have a nice day.